Hello, welcome back to the channel. This is Have Roots Will Travel. My name is Lisa Elvin Staltari and I'm a genealogist and a passionate traveler. Over the last few years, I've been featuring Les Filles du Roi, the King's Daughters, and getting to know their individual stories so much better. And we are on episode, I believe it's 237. There are over 700 of them. We've come such a long way. We still have a long way to go. I love telling these stories. And before we begin, let me show you ways you can support the channel. The first three keep you in the know, subscribe, like, and notify. And the next are ways to help the channel itself grow. Coffee and Patreon are all ways, they're external platforms and you can decide what you want to give. And we also have the PayPal link that's on my website, Have Roots Will Travel. And don't forget to look at Have Roots Will Travel if you're looking for a specific lady, because I have an alphabetical list and a that you can click on, so it really does help when you're trying to find your particular fille du roi. So with that being said, let's get started and get to know our fille du roi of this episode. Today's episode 237 is Anne Masson. Let's get to know her a little bit better. She was a viewer request, and when I looked in my files, the boy next door that you've heard me talk about, well, his wife, this is her great-grandmother. So let's have a look and get to know Anne a little bit better. She was born in 1642 in Les Moitiés d'Allons in France. Her parents were Nicolas Masson and Bertine Duval. You can see by the map that she is part of the Normandy region, and she is the Manche département, which is like a county. That is the section of Normandy. It's almost in Brittany, if you will. And the church that she would have been baptized in, Notre Dame is what it's called, Notre Dame de les Moitiés d'Allons, and obviously has existed since the 13th century. Very, very old, and definitely something that we want to visit when we go to Normandy. Now, there are about 760 people who live in this small little commune. Remember, the commune means village in France. So this is the area that she's coming from, a beautiful section of Normandy. After her father's death, she left for New France on La Nouvelle France ship, and she arrived in Quebec on July 30th, 1670. She carried with her a dowry worth about 200 pounds. The groom that she would select and who would select her, his name was Robert Gagne, and he was born in 1641, so they're about the same age. And guess what? They're both from Normandy region, although he is from the Calvados département. Villerville is the commune that he is born into. And you can see that it is directly on the sea. So we really, it's a very different kind of environment, if you will. And the church that he would have been baptized in is Notre Dame de l'Assomption that you see on the right of your screen. It dates from the 12th century, but of course has been renovated. And you can see how quaint and how beautiful the little village is as well. So that is where Robert came. Now, when did he come to Quebec? As so many French men came to New France as a contracted employee or an engagé, and they would have to fulfill a contract of either 3 to 5 years, depending on the situation. But certainly they'd have to fulfill their contract before they were free to marry. And remember, when they chose their fille du roi, they had to present something, some sort of assets. So they would have needed to be in the country long enough to be able to establish themselves. And so he did. By September 8th, 1670, he and Anne are married at Quebec City, and this is their marriage record. The family would settle in Beauport, which actually means beautiful port. And it is actually listed as one of the most beautiful towns in Quebec, which it really is. This is the view from Ile d'Orléans to Beauport. So in 1634, the beginnings of this, Robert Guivard, one of the earliest gentlemen, received the Seigneurie of Beauport from the Company of 100 Associates. It didn't really get going until about 1698. So by 1670, 1671, we're seeing a lot more people settle in Beauport, and of course, Robert and Anne are among those very early pioneers. They are not featured on this map, but certainly this is how the Beauport was laid out. And this is where it is, where the circle here on the map, you can see it is now part of Quebec City. So it's all part of the grandiose of Quebec City now. But at the time, it was its own little village. They would have 8 children. Marguerite would marry Nicolas Rothereau and have 4 children, all of whom were married. Joseph, we don't have any more information on. Marie-Anne married Jérôme Marillac and had 1 child, who did survive. She then married Bernard Philippe and had 2 children, both of whom survived. Louise married Guillaume Guiraud and had 2 children, both of whom survived. Mathurin died in infancy. Marie-Charlotte did not marry. Pierre married Marie-Anne Moirier and had 11 children, 7 of whom made it. Françoise would marry Noël Giroux and have 7 children, all of whom made it. In the 1681 census, we find Robert and Anne with their children, Marguerite. Joseph is still alive at this point. Marie, Louise is there. Charlotte, Mathurin is not there. Charlotte is there. She's 7 months old at this point, and Pierre and Françoise are not yet born. We see that he has 7 bêtes à cornes, that's 7 goats, and he has 20 alpins en valeur, which is a really amazing amount. Anne would pass away first. She died in hospital at the Hôtel Dieu on the 13th of September, 1710. It states there that she was 72. According to my calculation, she was closer to 63. She and Robert would have been married 35 years, and they would have, by 1729, 76 descendants. Robert would pass away 6 years later, and he would die at age 70. He is buried at Beauport. Here are some of my favorite resources. One of them is La Société des Filles du Roi et Soldats du Carignan, the Society of Filles du Roi, of which I am a member, as the membership chair, and also one of the directors. And I want to tell you that even before all that, when I was just going on the site, I found so much information. It was really one of those places that I needed to go to confirm my research. Now that I have access to all of the great articles and all of that, it just is amazing to have that kind of research behind you. So please have a look, check out the website, and if you are interested in becoming a member, you can certainly submit your lineage, and they will award you a beautiful diploma saying that you are or a certificate saying that you are the descendant of so-and-so Fille du Roi, and gain access to that. Or if you just want to join, you can become an associate member as well for a smaller fee. So, all of that, check it out, because I think it might be something that really helps you out in your research. And so we come to the end of episode 237. Anne Masson and Robert Gagne had this life, and they just built a life and, lived enough years together. 35 years, not too shabby. And although they didn't have a tremendous amount of descendants, they still have enough that one viewer is definitely their descendants. So Anne, she came across, she got married, they were pioneers at Beauport, and so we thank her for her contribution, and we bless her memory, and we are grateful that she came to our shores. And I am also thankful for my contributors, my patrons and supporters and subscribers. All of you help make this into a real project of mine. It started off kind of just a project, and now it's become an obsession. So I intend to do all 700 of those Filles du Roi, and over 700. So with your help, I will continue doing just that. Thank you so very much. And until I see you on episode 238, au revoir.